This episode is sponsored by FrontrunnerNewJersey.com, your digital publication that covers South Jersey, and Fruition Life Media, preserving family legacies through video tributes, and Creative Content on Demand, your multimedia marketing company for all businesses.
Hi, welcome to BizTalk Unlocked. I'm April,
And I'm James.
and we have a great episode today. We have our guest that we've met at the Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey and many of the Connection series. Her name is Linda Milano, and she is the owner of CFB Promotional Products. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So we're excited to have you because we've seen how your business continue to grow, and we've heard, the stories that you've shared, from different network events that we've been at. And man, you are definitely thriving and an inspiration for a lot of people who are desiring to be an entrepreneur. So we're excited that you're going to share your story with us today. So I guess so we'll just start it off. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you into the business, and your background?
So I have close to now 30 years experience in the custom print and packaging world and promotional products world. I worked for a family business for 15 of those years. Early on, started off my career, and after the last big hiccup in 2008, the business that I worked for eventually went out of business in 2012. And I found myself, what do I do next? Right. So I quickly found another job with a much larger promotional products company, but it wasn't a good fit. They were basically a mail order house, cubicle farm, kind of how many pens can you sell? Right. But that was not what I enjoyed doing. At the same time, my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer the first week that I was hired. So I was really struggling on a personal level too, because I didn't have any paid time off. I couldn't take him to his doctor's appointments, and I was in a job that I didn't necessarily enjoy or feel valued. And also, wanting not to be there because I wanted to help my dad. They laid me off after 6 months. So I then took the next 6 months to kind of spend time with dad, take him to the appointments, and really support him. And all through that process, he would always say, Lynn, you need to start your own business. And then I don't know about your kids, but in typical daughter fashion, I replied, Dad, you have no idea what you're talking about. I am not a business owner. and and brushed them off, right? I'm
Yeah.
sure you can relate. But in January 2014, he passed away. And, you know, you go through the grieving process. And once the dust settled, I found myself like, what's next? And he had left my sister and I a small life insurance policy with like a few $1,000s that the day the check came, I actually was tearing it up because I didn't want his money. I wanted my dad. And that's still very much true, right? But my husband took the check and put it in the bank and said, you'll know what to do with it when the time is right. Just don't tear it up, right? So, Memorial Day weekend, I was heading into that weekend with 3 job offers. And I told each of the um, owners and organizations to give me the weekend to think about it so that I could figure out what the right decision was. And after a lot of soul searching and like figuring out what my next move was, there was one job that was only 10 hours a week, part time for a family business, doing what I enjoy doing in the promotional products world, helping customers and businesses. And I asked him to meet with me again. And we met at a local coffee shop. And during the like organic conversation of just kind of figuring out like what to go, I asked him, why should I work for you when I could do this for myself? And that
What?
was that eureka aha
That's your aha.
moment. It was all of a sudden the money that I had forgot about, my dad's money, like hit my head. I'm like, okay, I think I need to do this, give it a shot. And I was never in a position prior to that to take a risk and start my own business. So that's kind of how I started CFB in 2014 now.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's an awesome testimony right there. Well, congratulations. We're glad that you started your company because it's been a blessing for a lot of businesses getting their brand out there to promote with all the great products that you offer.
Thank you.
What were some of the biggest challenges you faced during the initial stages of setting up your business?
I felt overwhelmed and kind of isolated on an island of my own because family and friends had never really started a business, right? They couldn't walk and guide me through, this is what you need. These are the checklist of things that you need to do. And in New Jersey, there's a lot of forms that you need to, fill out. And
Yes.
it's something that was new to me. And fortunately, I was able to meet up with a couple of people that could guide me and walk me and help me figure out the right foundation to start the business. But in the early days, the fear of the unknown, along with the overwhelming task of starting something from scratch, was really, really challenging. So I had to kind of break it down to small baby steps and tackle one thing at a time and not project myself 10 years later, right? Um,
Right.
I actually heard a talk by the founder of Uggs Boots, right? And it was within the first couple months of starting CFB, so it was very timely and appropriate, where he said when businesses are very much like children, you have that
Mhm.
newborn phase, and there's this whole new life that is changing how you live, right? Like you're adapting, lack of
Right.
sleep, and like the overwhelming to-do list and all of that. But you don't expect that baby, that newborn, to come out walking, talking, running, full of education, right? Like there's a process of being a business owner, very much like a child. So giving yourself
Right.
grace to make mistakes and to turn to that support system, whether it be a chamber or family members or whatever, to see things from an outside perspective and encourage you, right? The toddler isn't running. He's taking steps and he's going to stumble, but someone's there to pick you up and kind of encourage you and cheer you on, right? So that's what you need. And I would absolutely recommend business owners to make sure you have a support system, whether it be family or friends or even chamber members and like networking colleagues to really help you get through those early days.
It's
Love
funny
that.
you say that because I use that same analogy when people talk to me about business. I say it's like raising a family
Mhm.
member
Mhm.
or a child, if you will, because and you don't give up on the child.
Right.
You continue to use the village. It takes a village to raise a, a child, right? Well, that's the networking part.
Yeah.
And you find yourself going to these different network events, meeting other business like-minded people because also all too often that you find a lot of entrepreneurs like you and I didn't come from a family that had a business, so we didn't have a business model to go off of. We kind of just dived in blind, kind of
Yeah.
like when you have a newborn child. It's like they don't give you a manual for it, but instincts will kick in
Right.
and you'll learn a lot. So I'll ask you the next question. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
How did you decide on your target market or your customer base, and what steps did you take to reach them?
So, like I mentioned, at that point, I had 15 years experience. So I kind of had a full understanding of who my target audience was. So it was just taking the steps of reaching out to people, networking, asking questions, and putting myself in the position to be an aid or a help to business owners, to HR departments, to anyone that had a message to share or communicate
Mm.
to an outside audience. So I did that through networking. I did that through social media. I also did it through target marketing with sending samples and just kind of intro letters and just asking a lot of questions as well.
Okay.
Wow, that's good. So, what was there a defining moment when you knew your business was going to succeed, or was it more of a gradual realization?
It's tricky, right? Like I think I'm still
Yeah,
learning and still kind of gradually getting to that successful point, right? Like what is success? And it
right.
evolves as you check off different milestones. But one of the early accomplishments where I remember thinking, "Oh, I got this," right? Like this is like I'm a business owner, right? Like that transition from dad didn't know what he was talking to yeah, dad was right. Um
Hmm.
was within the first couple of months of me opening CFB through networking opportunities and being active in my church, I heard about a large event coming to Philadelphia, which is now going to be 10 years later. And it was Pope Francis was visiting Philadelphia, but it was attached to the World Meeting of Families, which is a congress that happens every 3 years and rotates throughout the world. And it brings hundreds of thousands, if not close to a million people together to talk about family and different things. But it was coming to our hometown, to our area. And I was able to use my experience and my knowledge to get connected to the right people, but also forecast some items that they needed for the event, which was happening at that point in time, 2 years, 18 months down the road for security. So I was able to land one of the largest contracts of my career in the first few months of me opening the doors of CFB. And if
Wow.
you
Wow.
Google the company, it's the clear backpacks that were used for the pilgrims for the World Meeting of Families. And I remember, like again, Linda is prefers to be behind the scenes, not on camera. Very good with staying behind the scenes. So getting a lot of press coverage, which I did because of that project,
Oh, wow.
was great for business and gave me that solid foundation and also my proving my credibility. It was like on a personal level terrifying. But I remember the day that the Courier Post put out a story on the newspaper, and most of my family is in Philadelphia, so they're like, "Oh, can you grab the New Jersey newspaper?" And I remember standing in this store and going in and grabbing the paper, and just like how like you lick your finger to turn the page, I kind of do that, and I'm standing there, and I'm the entire front page of the Courier.
Wow.
Wow.
And I think I stood there in shock for like 15 minutes, and I would love to see the security footage of the store because it was just so surreal. And again, like another concrete example of maybe I got this, right? And then
Hmm.
I brought the newspaper to the cemetery and shared that with my dad because there was no one to
Yes.
share it more with than my dad, especially since it was his money that I used to start my business.
You talked about how you started your business, but for those who wanted to go into that industry,
Hmm.
what are some ways that they could, secure some type of funding or, get capital? What does it take to start something like what you have?
That's a tricky question to answer because I was in a different position. Like I said, I used my dad's life insurance money. Um, there isn't a whole lot of overhead to start a business like mine because it's more of a consultative kind of business. However, you will need funding to kind of source your projects, right? Like I'm working with factories throughout the world. So having good credit and having financial stability is really important so that you can deliver the goods. So having a relationship with the banks and the SBAs and understanding which programs you may qualify for are really important. I can't speak on how easy it is to go through that process because I didn't do it myself. Um, but like the New Jersey has a lot of resources to help small businesses and turning to like the state and the chambers that can help you navigate some of that red tape and the options that exist. That I would recommend people to turn to experts in the area.
Yeah, that's great advice because we met you during like networking and mentorship at the chamber, and just seeking sources in your area and community. And so, what role did networking and mentorship play in your business's early development? And did you have any key mentors or role models?
So as you can see, I've said networking quite frequently in this conversation, right?
Yeah,
Is critical. And networking is not selling. Networking is not, let's go collect the business cards and see how many people I can turn into customers. So after making some mistakes in the early days, that when I let go of the, oh, I need to collect the business card, and get as many customers as I can, and kind of build that support system around me, networking is crucial to the success of any business, because at any given time, small businesses, even if they're, got a whole team internally, you're not an expert in everything. You're not an expert
right.
in every little minutia of things that change over time, right? So turning to your network of experts puts you in a position where it gives you freedom where you don't need to be an expert in everything, because you know that you can turn to somebody for help. But it
Mhm.
also is an external sales force, for lack of a better word, because as people, you get to know people and you get to know me. When you are having conversations out there on your own, naturally you think of, oh, Linda can help. Oh, James and April, they're awesome. That you need a headshot? Go ahead. They can help you, right? Like,
Right.
and that's the beauty of networking, because it gives you freedom to do what you know how to do and allow others to help you along your journey.
Yeah, I
Wow.
totally
Yeah.
agree with you because I found myself building relationships through the chamber. And yeah, I did go in with the business cards. We gotta have our business card said, sell,
Right.
sell, sell. It never works, but having the relationship uh, with people, then business just come.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we've seen our greatest success once we started doing things in that nature. But most importantly, having genuine, real relationships,
Right.
So yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just the conversations, because like you said, you people are bringing up your name when you're not even in the room.
Mhm.
So who's championing you? Who's thinking like, oh, someone needs pens, or like, someone needs cups for their customers, or their staff members, holiday gifts. Oh, I would think of Linda, or
Yeah.
consult with Linda and get to that. So yeah, your name comes up in a lot of my conversations with
Yeah.
with some friends. I'm like, I know somebody.
And that's the thing, like, we're all here to help one another, right? If rising waters raises all ships, right? Like, we can all help each other, and we're not really competing against one another, even when it's someone in my same industry, because
hmm
Yeah.
you can connect the dots. Networking is connecting the dots to help others succeed, and that's the beauty of it. And along the way, you pick up some genuine friendships that I'm
Yeah.
closest
Mhm.
now with some networking people like you guys, where
Yeah.
it's it's more friendly, right? And that's the fun of, being a business owner.
Yeah. Well, let's move into business growth and current operations now. Since launching, how has your business evolved in terms of product, services, and target audience?
Again, a lesson I had to learn along the way. And it's okay to stumble, right? We had someone to pick me back up and kind of course correct. You can't be all things to all people.
Right.
You have to stay in your lane. Do the thing that you know and do it well. And it took me a long time, and I'm still learning, and it's an act of practice. It's okay to say no. Because if I'm saying yes to everything, essentially I'm saying no to something whether I realize it or not. And it may be a disservice to myself and others if I stretch myself too thin and I'm not able to fulfill what it is that I really need to do, right? Um, so strategically, I have a better understanding of what my capabilities are, what my supply chain is capable of delivering, and that changes. And staying knowledgeable of current trends and happenings that are relevant to your business world, because it what I was good at 10 years ago is not what I'm good at now. It's evolved, right? And being able to communicate that to your outside audience and your your customer base is important. So that's kind of how I've shifted from those early days.
Wow. Listen, if you're an entrepreneur or a current
Right.
business owner, that was a lifeline tip right there, if ever. Let me just tell
Right.
you, you dropped the mic on that one, Linda.
And so,
Seriously.
the if you can just share just a little bit more about how you keep it innovative, because there's so many people that have the same kind of promotional products, services that you do. How do you stand out from that crowd?
Always be learning. If you are not
Mm,
learning, you are essentially dying, right? Like there is, even if it's just for your own personal growth, you have to have challenges to keep you on the top of your game. So I am always reaching out to industry sources, seeing out what's new, going to trade shows, taking, webinars and lessons on sustainability and tariffs and all the things that are happening here, like right now, right? And getting an
yes.
understanding of why is the supply chain broken? Why is pricing increasing? Right? And like, how can I best navigate these hiccups that are happening in real time to allow me to be in a better position to serve my clients? So, education and learning is really, really key, but also being present in the audiences that you serve. So, I do a lot of work that's event driven. So, trade shows, community events, right? Oftentimes, if the event is in South Jersey, don't be surprised if I'm not popping by, and I might have a dog or two with me, but popping by to kind of see, oh, my clients are here today. Let me see how's it going, or what's everyone giving out at their exhibit booths at the trade show, right? Because
Yeah.
there's something that can be learned from there. And if something isn't working, it gives me a fuller view of why it's not working and kind of tweak and adapt and move forward.
Yeah, yeah. Because I found as an entrepreneur that we become problem solvers. And
Mm-hmm.
as we crack the problems to solve them, your business continue to grow and prosper and keeps you fresh and innovative. Um, as a business owner, what do you find most fulfilling about running your company? And are there aspects you enjoy more than others?
It's kind of odd because it's a love-hate relationship with networking.
Right, right, right.
It's
Love
I
hate.
say it's a necessary evil. When
Mm,
Linda wakes up in the morning, her natural self does not say, "Oh, let me go into a room of 50 plus people and just go out and say, 'Hey, I'm Linda.'" However,
right.
the part that I love about being a business owner is everyone's story is unique and different. And
Yes.
really listening to understand the challenges and the successes that others are having put is the fun part of my work, right? If I can help make someone's job easier, if I can help solve that challenge, if I have any way to better that that individual or that organization, at the end of the day, seeing a company succeed is what gives me that warm fuzzy feeling, right? Like it really makes me happy, right? um but I have to be out there talking to people to hear those stories. So I have to
Yeah.
kind of get outside that comfort zone and put myself in that room first so that I'm able to
Mhm.
have those stories. And like I said, it's kind of double. And
No, I think you do
Yeah,
great. I mean, I
yeah.
know you serve as ambassador as well, but I
Mhm.
know for me and James, when we sponsored the Connection series for like 2 years, James would be like, "Who's gonna speak? You're gonna speak." And right before we get there, I'd be like, "Okay, he's gonna do the speaking," and then I'm like, "All right, maybe I'm ready." And so it's like one of those things, and he's like, "Just do it," and I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
just do it. Get out of your head." So I was like, "Okay, let me get out of my head." He
Yeah.
goes, "You know what we do?" I said, "I
Yeah.
know."
Yeah. And you have to, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, I guess you have no problem, but you have to network. You really have to
Right,
get out and meet people, because you may have the best product or service, but if nobody knows about you or what you
right.
do, your business will suffer for that.
Right.
So,
And I think I also networking could be with other businesses, but for me, we still have kids who are school aged, some ones in college, but still, when we're out there supporting their sports
mhm.
or their activities, I end up talking with parents, sometimes community members, leads. I do talk about us,
Yeah.
and other businesses, what I'm part of. So it's very interesting. Like networking doesn't just have to be always at like a breakfast or a lunch. It can be anywhere you go, supermarket, everything.
Yeah.
And that's again another lesson I've learned is be genuine and be yourself because probably someone else in that room is feeling the identical way that you are, and you might just be their lifeline to make them feel more comfortable. And when you take a genuine interest in what others are doing, saying, experiencing, it puts you at ease. And once I'm in a room, I'm very comfortable talking.
Right.
Hmm.
It's like I said, it's getting over that voice in my head and just putting myself there and just having a natural conversation, whether it be
Yeah.
in a formal business setting or like you said at the grocery market or school setting and the park, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're coming to the end. Want to look into the future if we can. Looking ahead, where do you see your business in the next 5 to 10 years? And are there any specific goals or milestones you're working towards?
I'm excited to keep on growing. Um, Coming out of a post-COVID world, we are back into full in-person experiences and events, which is really, really exciting. And for our area, 2026 is going to be so exciting. You have the World Cup coming to our area. You had the 250th birthday of the United States. You have the All-Star game. You have, again, some very large, recognizable events coming to our area. And the goal is to do work for each of those celebrations, but also to help the community reach out to others and create those memorable experiences so that when 2026 is a distant memory, we are all shining. People are going to say, James and April helped me with this, whatever. And it was such a pleasant time or, and memorable because, again, when you create those memories, it also builds loyalty. And coming out of 2026, we have a lot to look forward to and help us all move forward to, get past that.
Well, Linda, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. But most importantly, if someone is looking to do some type of marketing, branding for their company,
How can they reach out to you? Can you share us, your website, your phone numbers, whatever you want us to the audience to get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So I do have a website. It's cfbpromotionalproducts.com. I'm a phone call away, so you can call me at 856-513-6610. And I'm also on Facebook as well as LinkedIn and even have a YouTube channel all under CFB Promotional Products.
and if you don't mind, just if you can just tell us some of the products that you're pushing out right now, whether it's pens, cups, or shirts, or
So there's literally hundreds of thousands of items that could be branded with your company logo or message. We do more of a consultative approach to really try to understand what is the right product for you. But again, t-shirts, mugs, tumblers, signs, event tents, branded table covers. There is something out there that's going to help share your story, your message, and we want to help you find that right product.
Well, thank you once again, Linda, for taking the time and sharing your business journey with us. It was an awesome testimony. We also want to thank our sponsors out there for continuing to allow us to do what we're doing. FrontrunnerNewJersey.com, Creative Content on Demand, and
And
Fruition Life
First Life
Media.
Media.
So thank y'all, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. This is great information that you shared with us today.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.